What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, unless you've been living under a rock, you probably know some of the hottest topics within the XDefiant community right now are clearly the hit registration and also the netcode. And with Season 1 here, we didn't really see too much talked about within these two very important topics. So a lot of the community is worried because in all the other previous updates, there was always something. Even if it's just a very tiny, minimal change, they still mentioned it in the patch notes, and they still put something forth towards the community to make sure the, obviously the overall gameplay feels a bit better. But with Season 1, nothing. No sign of anything, no talk of anything. And the community is just up in arms. Like I always say, you can go anywhere on Reddit, anywhere on Twitter, and it's the same thing over and over and over again. Season 1 dropped, and it's still garbage. The game's dead. Season 1's here. The netcode is still a little rough. The game is dead. Well, Season 1 just came around the corner, and everything is still bad. Not bothering with this game anymore. It's the same stuff over and over and over again. But guys, don't worry, because Mark Rubin has come with a little bit more information, regarding the netcode in this game. I feel like a lot of people, when I read off this information, aren't going to like it too much. They're going to find it useless and, well, more than likely kind of, keep pushing the same narrative that, they don't care about the netcode and hit reg. They ignore it all the time, and all they do is prioritize the store nowadays, even though, the majority of the store skins aren't even that fantastic. So I don't really understand where people are coming from with that narrative. And also, you got to keep in mind that it's a completely different team working on the store compared to the actual game itself. So again, I never really completely agreed with that narrative, but again, that's what everybody's pushing right now because it's just simply nothing else to grasp onto in regards to netcode and hit registration. And with that mindset, with what Mark Rubin is saying here, I don't know if they're going to be too happy, but it is what it is and it has to be said. As you can see right here from Mark Rubin over on Twitter, we've been updating the netcode and hit reg in our patches. We've seen a bunch of people say that it got better after those recent patches. But we know there is still more to do. This engine has never done anything like this before. So we are building the online experience from scratch, so to speak. We are not a game on a decades-old engine. We'll get there. Also, I may be reaching out to people to get names of people with bad netcode to help us investigate the issues. That right there, I think, is very important. I'm very, happy that they went ahead and, handled it in this way. Because, it's, for some reason, other people are getting it 10 trillion times worse than, but like me, for example. You guys can hop into all my streams. Yeah, I run into some netcode issues. Yeah, I get shot around walls. But it's nowhere close to what it was day one. But I still see tons of complaints saying that it's just atrocious. So I think this is the step in the right direction. Get people directly who are having this issue, find the problem from these people, and hopefully they can get a bigger update out that can resolve this for a lot more people who are running into these issues. But again, I just wanted to put this forth to the community because people are craving some talk about this, and they need to know what's happening, and indeed, they are working on the netcode, guys. You gotta relax and calm down. I know a lot of people out there are sitting here thinking to themselves that, like I just said, Season 1 is here and it's still not fixed. But you gotta think, you can't go based off of seasons. You have to go based off of how long the game has been out. It's been out for a month right now. And you have to also keep in mind, this is a brand new netcode, okay? I know everybody likes to say, oh, well, the netcode has been worked on for 2 years. No. This is a brand new netcode. The only test that they had with this netcode, they had one private test. Well, it was a public test, but with how many people who showed up, it could have basically been a private one. And then, obviously, the full launch, okay? No data whatsoever. This isn't the previous netcode where they had, a year plus worth of data to work with. No, they literally had a small test and then the official launch where everybody poured in. A lot of information, a lot of overwhelming stuff going on here. It's going to take a little bit of time. And, I have to say this because I feel like people give these devs such a hard time, even though they continue to show love to this community and they tell us everything that's happening. But it's like, it just mind boggles me because this isn't, an issue that just doesn't happen in other shooters. People are making it out to be that these developers are useless and they don't know what they're doing when every other game out there that I can possibly think of that's popular also had these same exact issues in their beginning stages, if not for a longer period of time. Now, I understand, stuff like this is unacceptable, but to be real with you guys, this is just the type of, environment that we are in nowadays when it comes to gaming, right? You can't really get any product that releases completely polished off anymore. It's not like what it was back in the day. You pick up a game, the bugs aren't in the game or the bugs are not getting resolved, and, they had to make sure everything was polished off before launch because, like I said, it's no going back and fixing it up later on in its life cycle. None of that noise. But now, We're in the live service era, so this is just simply how games are made. But the difference is that this game has years and years and years and years ahead of it compared to a game like Call of Duty, where it only has 1 year to put itself together, or Battlefield, where it only has a couple to a few years to put itself together. No, XDefiant is planning to be 5+ years. Who knows, 10+ years? We have no clue. And the difference is, with this knowledge, is that this game will be polished off at a good point in time. Call of Duty, it's literally recycled every year, and every year we run into the same problems at launch, right? XDefiant, that's not the case. We have these issues now, but over time, they will eventually be polished off. There's not going to be another XDefiant where they're going to have to go back to scratch and redo all these problems when the game launches. No, the game will be polished, and at a certain point in time, it will be good to go, and we'll have no more issues. But again, back to what I was saying previously, it just blows my mind because people act like this isn't a problem that happens in other titles. Shoot, they act like it wasn't a problem that's been said since the beginning of time. All these Reddit posts, all these claims about netcode and saying, oh, this is the worst, I'm getting shot around walls so much, and the hit reg is so bad, and rubber banding so bad, so on and so forth. You can literally go back and look at a post from Modern Warfare 2 or the Black Ops 2 board or whatever and see people saying the exact same thing. Again, I don't mind people getting salty about this because you definitely have the right to do so, especially players who are running into a lot of issues and, Sony players, PlayStation players who can't even get the frames to work properly. It's a lot of problems that are infuriating. But to say the developers are, useless and incompetent and they don't know what they're doing because, they're running into these issues when honestly, these issues aren't even close to being as bad as other games. I mean, do you even remember what Battlefield 2042 was at launch? Again, how do people have the nerve? How do they have the balls to come out here and say that no other game runs into this issue here? How? How do you possibly say this? Rainbow Six Siege was destroyed for months. It had the worst servers for months when it launched. And that game is still thriving on, right? Overwatch had some rough servers. Call of Duty every year at launch has rough servers. Shoot, even Apex Legends, one of the most popular battle royales ever made, was destroyed for months at launch. So no, it's incorrect for people to say that the netcode being gunked up after a month still is the death of the game are completely wrong, because that's not the case. The only thing that can kill this game is the developers if they stop giving a crap. But they haven't proven that to us. They continue to prove that they want this game to thrive, they want this game to get better, and as long as they have that mindset, the game will get better. Like I said, look at Rainbow Six Siege. It was a disaster at launch, one of the best tactical games you could possibly play out there. Apex Legends, a disaster at launch, one of the top freaking, battle royale experiences out there. Shoot, Call of Duty has the crappiest servers known to mankind, yet and still they make bank every single year. Battlefield 2042 got completely turned around. People thought that was going to be an absolute disaster, and it still is, don't get me wrong. But is it better compared to day one? Can you actually play? Do your bullets register? I mean, I guess people don't remember when your bullets were ghosting 24/7 in Battlefield 2042. I guess that never happened. But no, now it's better. They fixed it. So yes, the developers are going to be able to do so, but you have to give them time. People are rushing this process when it's never been done in this amount of time. Like I said, all these games always take months on top of months on top of months on top of months to be able to resolve this, but XDefiant all of a sudden has to be able to fix it in a week. Again, I understand that they had a previous netcode, but we can't keep blaming the previous netcode for what the current netcode is doing. We just simply can't. The previous netcode honestly wasn't even that shabby. We had server problems, but the hit reg was honestly extraordinarily crispy. So yes, the developers are competent to bring it up to that point. You just gotta be patient. Patience is key. And for those who don't believe me, go back and look at all my previous videos on the XDefiant. Look at all my alpha test playthroughs. Look at all my beta tests. Please. Yes, like I said, we had complaints, but you could tell the hit registration was not shabby. The developers aren't incompetent. They'll get the job done. And one last final key point that he said in this post here, which I think is very important to mention, is that this engine has never made an FPS game like this before. People are literally trying to compare this game's progress to a game like Call of Duty, or a game like Battlefield, or a game like Halo, where they have 50,000 freaking other titles and 50,000 freaking, already developed engines and, everything is set to go that they can build off of. And XDefiant didn't have any of that. They don't have any engines that were built for this fast-paced arcade arena shooter. You know what I'm saying? They had to do this themselves. They had to build this whole netcode from the ground up for this online experience. It's a difficult task. And if you think otherwise, like I said, if you have credentials and coding and you do stuff like this, then like I said, share your opinion. But I mean, for everybody else out there, if you don't know how to handle the netcode, I don't know why you even bother complaining about any of this stuff. And I'm the same way. I don't know how to make a freaking netcode. But you know what I do? I compare it to how other games progress over time. Okay? I don't sit here and say, oh, they're incompetent, they don't know what they're doing, because I don't know what work goes into that. But I can definitely compare it to other teams and see how long it took other games to progress, especially with similar teams. And, you know, they're no different than anybody else right now. It's absolutely no difference. So I have faith in this team. I don't know about you guys. I want to know what you guys think down in the comments section. Do you think that they're just full of crap right now and they're just talking to talk? Or do you think that they really mean business? And yes, in the course of months, we will see some big improvements. But ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post daily here at 8 in the morning Eastern time. And of course, if you guys want to check out any of my live streams, I'll be live today between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern time. Got a link to my Twitch channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.